Our totally awesome President Joe Biden, was on 60 Minutes. The same guy whose crackhead son is the smartest person he knows. Got 61 million votes, the most votes in history. The least amount of counties ever won to still be elected president in history. Tim Allen told a joke that's been around for a long time. He said, Biden was on 60 Minutes. I heard he also asked how long the show was. Of course, Twitterverse erupted. They went crazy. They didn't like that. Don't make fun of him. But on 60 Minutes, he made statements that the White House doesn't agree with. Apparently, the head of the executive branch has to have his statements walked back. When he told us that COVID is over, the pandemic is over. They walked it back to what the policy actually is. The leader of the free world who was supposed to make policy, and all foreign policy, had his statements walked back. That's why all those dead people voted for him so many times. But the White House has to clarify policy. Joe is completely clear when he speaks, but they have to clarify constantly. Joe told us the pandemic is over, but we need to trust the science. The Fauci, the science, immediately got back in the news to walk it back. He is the science. Walking it back, talking it down. Biden again promised for the fourth time to defend Taiwan. Again, the White House clarified for the fourth time there is no policy change. For the fourth time, they clarified what the policy was after Biden spoke about what the policy was. Their policy that we will not defend Taiwan overrides Biden's claims. The head of the executive branch is being overridden by unelected White House officials. One unelected bureaucrat overriding another. Joe thinks China is a competitor in the world marketplace. They are not a threat. They're an ally. Joe has met with Xi Jinping more than anyone. He is his friend. They are not as big a threat as Russia. His son has certainly done more business with them than Ukraine or Moscow. Never mind that they continue to imprison Uyghurs. Uyghurs are the largest minority ethnic group in China's northwestern province of Xinjiang. China has been accused of committing crimes against humanity and possibly genocide against Uyghur population and other mostly Muslim ethnic groups in the northwestern region of Xinjiang. China, accused of committing crimes against humanity. Doesn't make the news very often. Don't see anybody calling them out. Don't see anybody with stopping trade and everything else like that over Uyghurs. Never mind during lockdowns, where they boarded up windows and doors, wires, bolts, to let people starve in their homes, leave them to die of coronavirus, untreated, not allowed to leave, not allowed to have food delivered. Phone tracking, some of the worst tactics we've ever seen, where your phone has to track where you're at. There's a passport that you would have show up on it for you to be able to travel. Lots died. No idea how many, though. The fires lit up the night sky. And then China is quietly reselling its excess Russian LNG to Europe. That's right, you may have missed out that the EU is trying to close plants, coal plants, nuclear power plants, so they can rely on Russian oil and gas and imported so that they're not destroying the environment. They're going to let a country like China, one of the dirtiest polluters in the world, the dirtiest polluter in the world. They're paying higher prices now due to the supply crisis from Russia. But what's really going on is Russia selling it to China. China's then marking the price up, selling it back to the EU. It's getting shipped all over, which is not as safe as on a pipeline. If you have a tanker spill, that's an ecological disaster. But the price only goes up a little bit, I'm sure, with having China as the middleman. Good thing EU's not having any kind of an energy crisis right now. Good thing they're not low on food and things like that because of getting all these restrictions placed on farmers, their use of fertilizers. Got to save the planet. People can afford it. They can feel the squeeze. Do the right thing for the environment. But regardless, this makes you wonder, who's in charge?